So, first of all, could you give us a quick overview of your current research field and involvement with any funded research projects?
So I'm chair of Agrifood and marketing here at the University of York, and I'm also a policy fellow within the systems program team within DEFRA in the Chief Scientist's Office. So I'm one of those academics that really bridges across research and policy making. I also lead a large interdisciplinary research program, which is funded by the Global Food Security Program, which is called IKnowFood, and that's a big collaboration between York, University of Leeds and Manchester and Liverpool. And I mainly work on personally pro-social market mechanisms within the food system. But increasingly over the years, I've taken a more food systems approach to my research.
In terms of the definition of sustainable food systems, why do you think this has become such an important mission for our time?
Yeah, I think that if you look globally and you look at all the projections, we have to produce 60% more food by 2050 to feed a growing population, which by that time will be 10 billion. And if we produce that food using the same agricultural system that we currently employ, we'll need 42% more land, 120% more water. That production alone will lead to a 2 degrees rise in global temperature. And so it clearly can't be business as usual. So we need to redesign the food system. And you only can do that by really looking at the system as a whole. I think for far too long, as researchers and as policymakers, we've really worked in silos, and we haven't really looked at activities of the food system, the supply chain, the outcomes in terms of food security, and also the environmental and the social economic drivers and how they all interact together. So taking a sustainable food systems approach actually allows you to look at the interlinkages between different actors in the food system and different component parts. It also allows you to look at the trade-offs and also the unintended consequences, and it demands an interdisciplinary approach.
And what challenges do you think are being faced by researchers in the field of sustainable food systems and industry around the world?
Yeah, I mean, it's complex. I mean, the food system is very, very complex, multidimensional on different scales, different geographical scales, different temporal scales. And also you researchers and policymakers have been used to working in the kind of silos. So the challenge really is to get out of your comfort zone and work with other disciplines and business and civil society and policymakers in a kind of co-productive situation. And not everybody is comfortable with that because you become a student of other disciplines in a way. If you take our IKnowFood program, we've got computer scientists, engineers, environmental scientists, political scientists, psychologists, health scientists, and engineers. And so when you're in meetings, you actually you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you have to understand the broader how your discipline actually interconnects with other disciplines as well. And so it's the complexity, I think, but the joy and the reward is in unpacking that complexity together in a collaboration and coming up with new innovative solutions.
To what extent is your research driven by addressing a specific problem and finding a solution? And how would you identify that problem? So maybe it could be linked to the Sustainable Development Goals, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky in that in my career, I've worked, in farming. I've also worked in the supply chain, and now I work in research. And it doesn't matter whether you're in the United Kingdom or in another part of the global food system, you always come across similar challenges and problems. Particularly talking to farmers, is the challenges around price and being able to earn a living income, and also the important thing is then being able to invest using that income in advancements in technology to improve the kind of balance of that production with the environmental management. So my research has always been originally very much focused on how do we make the food system more equitable and more fair for farmers and also for those actors working in the supply chain, because it's only by having very strong rural communities and very strong farming sector that's able to invest, that they're able then to be more resilient and have good livelihoods, so they can actually face all these challenges in terms of climate change adaptation and mitigation. And so for me, that's been what's driven my particular research. But more recently, I've been looking at the food system more holistically, also looking at the impact of production, what we actually do produce, and on the impact on diet and the health of populations as well.
Are you starting to see a change in the way that research is funded? So are there expectations from funders around where research gets published?
I think we're seeing a real change at the moment, and the UKRI have just launched this fund called Transforming Food Systems, which is an indication of that change in trajectory, because systems is a key word. So you can see the funding is going more to systems-wide work in food, and therefore that demands an interdisciplinary approach, and it's being encouraged. It's being part of the criteria that people will judge a research program application on. And so you then have to collaborate. You have to collaborate with other disciplines, but also industry and civil society and policy as well. And that's now an expectation. So you see more and more funding going to, particularly in the food system, going to that interdisciplinary landscape, which is actually, in a way, the journal Sustainable Food Systems from Emerald was way ahead of its time.
And with that in mind, can you briefly summarise why you were interested in being involved with the Sustainable Food Systems Gateway?
Yeah, because I think there's a number of reasons for me. One is the word systems. So it's one of few. I'm not aware of many journals that have the kind of systems approach, and certainly in food. So sustainable food systems for me as an academic area was appealing and very, very exciting. And then also the fact that these debates are very dynamic. As you know, it's a really fast-moving area in terms of business and policy landscape. And so one of the great things about a gateway is adding to the conversation quickly, and having that debate out into the open on that topic is exactly why I wanted to get involved. And in a way, it's the kind of breaking new ground. And I'm always keen on that frontier work and that pioneering work.
And what's your experience of working on and submitting to the Gateway been like?
Yeah, I mean, it's been refreshing, because I've been able to publish some of my collaborative work, which is interdisciplinary. It's not always easy to find somewhere quickly that will do that. So the process was quick and fair, and we got some really good reviews. It's enabled us to improve our future work. It was very, and also the design of the gateways, it's really aesthetic. And so I think that's good as well.
And just one additional question, how did you find the process of open peer review?
Yeah, we went to, there was obviously in the team, because the articles that we have submitted and published are quite big collaborations. So you always get that tension within the team, or some people are uncomfortable with that, but actually it worked really well. In fact, the comments were really constructive, and it allowed us to think about some of our future pieces of work and output. So we're a convert.